Welcome, Vanakkam, Jai Hind. No day in the life of an Indian, it seems, is complete without the daily ration of controversies. Amartya Sen took the trouble to write a book proving that Indians are inveterate controversialists, or not controversial, argumentators, the argumentative Indian. I feel he should write a complimentary volume, The Controversial Indian. Because now it's not arguments. The days of arguments are over. The days of debates are over. The debates of dialogue are certainly over. Now this is the epoch of controversies. You turn to the left, there is a controversy. Look to the left, there is a controversy. You shut your eyes, there is a controversy. You look upwards, there is controversy. Look downwards, look nowhere in particular, still there is controversy. Controversy, controversy, controversy. So life becomes empty, incomplete, boring, without our daily quota of controversies. So today, though it was a very sacred and sentimental day for us, as the anniversary of our independence, attainment of independence, today also generated its own share of controversy, and in this video I'll very briefly deal with it. I don't have to make a specific mention of that controversy because nothing occupies the center of national attention at the moment when I'm recording this video as much as this controversy does. It pertains to the seating arrangement for leader of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi. Taking very artistic and creative freedom with the established settled protocol, the leader of the opposition was accommodated, if reports are correct and the visuals I have seen are not lying, in the fifth row among the sports people who have brought laurels to the country. Now, first of all, for the life of me, I don't understand why this should be the subject matter of such a huge, raucous controversy. Rahul Gandhi was given a place to sit. He sat there, and to the extent that I could see him, he was looking happy, cheerful. He seemed to be utterly unmindful of the putative insult implied in the unusual and unprotocol-like seating arrangement provided to him. The leader of the opposition has the rank of a cabinet minister, and in a properly democratic culture, as in England, he is deemed the shadow prime minister. But then, I quite agree with this new sensibility, this new bold thinking that's coming into our midst, that we don't have to be bound by protocols and settled traditions. After all, we are into the new India, big, bold Bharat, which should not be hamstrung by commitment to old customs and traditions. And people should not really make such a big hoo-ha about a storm in a teacup about small issues like this. If anyone takes that stand, I would instinctively identify myself with him. But having said that, there are certain thoughts that this episode has kindled in my mind, which I thought would be of some interest to my viewers, because after all, only those who are interested in thinking are members of this YouTube Sangam or YouTube Fellowship. And for their sake, I will point out perhaps three aspects of this episode which come very clearly to my line of thinking. First of all, I fully endorse the logic in creating the maximum possible physical distance between the Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi and the leader of the opposition Sri Rahul Gandhi. And I do so because I too have been a public speaker. Many of the people who are creating this controversy perhaps lack experiences as a public speaker, especially if you happen to be an impromptu public speaker who is not reading out from a written text, but is speaking spontaneously, thinking on your feet, as it were. Now, what happens in such a situation, that seems to be the case with our beloved Prime Minister, when you are speaking in this manner, you become acutely aware of the people around you, even the people sitting at a far distance, the usual audience. Not to say anything about the people who are seated in the VVIP enclave or enclosure. Now, we know that there is no love lost between Sri Narendra Modi and Sri Rahul Gandhi. And all of you would remember how miserable the Prime Minister looked when Rahul Gandhi was speaking, how the next time when Rahul Gandhi was speaking, the Prime Minister was absent, to which Rahul made a specific reference and said, "वो मेरे भाषण में नहीं आएगा. He won't come and listen to me because it's far too traumatic for him." Now, Rahul Gandhi recognizes it. And therefore, it goes by force of logic that there is a need, an imperative need, to protect the Prime Minister who has to give an important nationally televised address which will be heard by practically every Indian, from the kind of emotional and inner turbulence the proximity of Rahul Gandhi, the leader of the opposition, would have created. It would have been an arrangement that was sure to have a choking influence on the speaker. I have experiences of addressing gatherings in which a single person who is distinguished by his or her inveterate hatred towards me was present, and I felt reasonably choked. And I don't want that to happen to any speaker, no matter who that speaker is, even if that speaker is not the Prime Minister, even if it's only a street speaker. I would like a speaker to be able to speak free of this inner turmoil, inner inhibition, this choking experience. After all, remember, the Prime Minister had very explicitly in public complained of the people trying to choke the Prime Minister of the country. इस देश के प्रधानमंत्री का गला घोंटने का काम कर रहा है. That was what he said. And that's a very wrong thing to do. It cannot be justified by anyone. The Prime Minister of the country needs to be heard by every citizen. It's the right of the citizens of India, irrespective of any distinction whatsoever, to listen to the Prime Minister in full flow. After all, this is not an ordinary occasion. It is the anniversary of our independence, and the speech that the Prime Minister makes from the ramparts of the Red Fort is of historical significance. And it is necessary to ensure that the Prime Minister is in full flow, in his native spirit, in all its purity, passion, and power, when he stands up and makes those historic utterances. And imagine the Prime Minister having to feel suffocated by the near proximity of a person like Rahul Gandhi. And whether or not they should be in this kind of malevolent relationship, I don't know. That I have no opinion on the matter. But I'm only simply detailing for you, or trying to give an account of the particular dynamics at play in this context. So the persons who decided or took the decision to create the maximum possible physical distance between the Prime Minister and Rahul Gandhi, they were extremely wise people, and they were people who have tremendous experience of the dynamics of public speaking, and they did a yeoman service to the Prime Minister. And I want to place on record my unreserved appreciation for the wisdom and the foresight they exemplified in making this arrangement. That's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say is that I'm given to understand, please correct me if I'm wrong, Rahul Gandhi was accommodated among the Olympians. Now, I find nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's not an insult, it's an honor to be among the Olympians because they have brought honor and glory to the country. But there's another aspect of appropriateness to this that perhaps has escaped practically everyone who has dealt with the subject. And that's what I want to foreground in what I'm going to say now. Perhaps the people who decided to locate or situate Rahul Gandhi among the politicians, among the Olympians, were being too generous to him. They were actually paying an encomium to him. They were actually implying, that's how I understand it, I can't sort of infiltrate, trespass into their inner thinking process and tell you with all certainty, without any margin for error, that this indeed is the case, but it seems to me that this is the case. They were actually inviting the country as a whole to see Rahul Gandhi in a new light. And what is that new light? What the Olympian athletes are to the sports culture of India, Rahul Gandhi is to the democratic culture of India. In other words, Rahul Gandhi is the Olympian of Indian politics. I think that bears repetition. Rahul Gandhi is the Olympian of Indian politics. Now, you think this is a small distinction to confer on Rahul Gandhi? If you think so, let me explain what it means. Who is an Olympian? An Olympian is somebody who works hard against all odds and distinguishes himself or herself on the basis of pure merit. You can't become an Olympian based on dynastic privileges, parivarvad. You can't become an Olympian because you were conceived in the right womb or you went to the right college or university. If you want to be an Olympian, you have to prove it on the ground. Track and field events, games, whatever. So it's an achievement, it's an accreditation, the validity, the truthfulness, the greatness of which nobody can question. So perhaps the people who decided that Rahul Gandhi should be situated among the Olympians wanted the people of India to understand that despite the orchestrated campaign to project him as the Pappu of Indian politics, he has really proved himself on the ground as Olympian athletes have proved themselves. So Rahul Gandhi should henceforth be seen as the Olympian of Indian politics. And surely Rahul Gandhi must feel elated. He must feel profoundly grateful for this arrangement. And I think that's how the people of India have taken it because, and this is very important for us to notice, today as the day ends, what is the lingering and enduring image or impression in the minds of the 1.4 billion people of India? I don't want to say this, but I have to state it nonetheless. It is not the Prime Minister's speech. It is the spectacle of Rahul Gandhi being seated on the fifth row. Everybody has forgotten the Prime Minister's speech, whether you like it or not. I know telling the truth is not at all welcome. But the truth must be spoken, and people will do well to heed the truth. The entire attention is at the moment focused on where Rahul Gandhi was seated. He did not say a word. He didn't wink. He didn't raise his eyebrows. His forehead didn't wrinkle. He simply sat there looking happy and feeling in his natural element. Whereas when the Prime Minister was speaking, to the extent I could make out as I was listening to him, he was feeling choked. He was not in his natural elements. He was not in his full flow. His voice, the timbre, Timbre, the timbre of his voice was becoming metallic. That's not the voice I have heard and loved. There was a magnetic power about the voice of my Prime Minister. Today, I missed it completely. And I have to attribute it not to any inherent weakness or any weakening of the Prime Minister's voice or lung power. I have to attribute it entirely to the negative and suffocating influence of the presence of Rahul Gandhi, though he was at a safe distance physically from the Prime Minister. Still, it has had such a negative and devastating effect. So, the strange irony of the situation is that a man who was made to sit on the fifth row among the athletes becomes the lingering, haunting image of the Independence Day celebration. The Prime Minister who hogged the limelight is almost forgotten. So, my argument, my thesis is therefore that nobody has done any disservice to Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi has no right to feel insulted, and fortunately Rahul Gandhi does not feel insulted. At least it does not look as though he felt insulted, because at the point when Rahul Gandhi found out that he would be seated only on the fifth row, Rahul had the option to walk out and quietly exit from the scene. If Rahul Gandhi were peevish, childish and petulant, he would have walked out and sulked. He didn't do that. He got an opportunity to prove his mettle. He sat there, unruffled, looking happy, radiating happiness, looking natural. Whereas the Prime Minister was feeling troubled, nearly suffocated, very likely because the Prime Minister was aware of the fact that protocol impertinence was inflicted on Rahul Gandhi. Now, I have a great deal to say about it, but I think for the time being, I'll withhold what further thoughts that surge into my mind in this context from a philosophical point of view, because I don't want to make this presentation too complicated. So far I've dealt with two aspects of it, and on both counts, I acquit the present arrangement, or the arrangement that was witnessed in the morning. Now, the final point I want to make is this, which is derived from the first 2 points. I'm afraid the BJP, the Home Ministry, the Defense Ministry, and the Babus working in this context, they are all being too generous towards Rahul Gandhi, because they are providing him with opportunities, each of which enables him to shine a little brighter, irrespective of what might be the motive in choreographing a situation in this manner or that manner. For example, the reason why Rahul Gandhi was made to sit in the fifth row could well have been, we do not know, I have no documentary evidence, no reliable proof for saying this, mere speculation. The motive could well have been to once again state, without words, visually state that Rahul Gandhi is still a papu and therefore he does not deserve any protocol entitlement. That could well have been. But see how it has boomeranged. So every attempt to present Rahul Gandhi in a particular light is becoming an opportunity for him to prove that he is anything but that. Now, that is something that those who are actually doing all this drama should take note of and take it very seriously. In fact, it's high time that they changed tack, T-A-C-K, change track. And I'll give an indication. When the Soviet Union was in its prime, there was a great deal of intolerance towards religion. And the Orthodox Church and the Catholic Church and the Russian Orthodox Church were the two prominent churches. So at a certain point, by law, it was interdicted. The practice of religion was interdicted. That was, the freedom to practice religion openly was curtailed. But then after a while, it was found out that the more this freedom was curtailed, the more the religious fervor of the people was intensifying. So a change in strategy was adopted. What they did was, they gave this up. They began to co-opt the bishops and archbishops and shower them with lavish state gifts, wealth, prominence. And that acted as a source of moral corruption. And the whole spiritual fervor of the people declined. So, showering state recognition, wealth, attention, and inflating the vanity of these bishops proved to be a far more devastating strategy as compared to the strategy of persecuting the church. I think there is some wisdom in this. So it is by now absolutely clear that given the fact that Rahul Gandhi has already crossed a critical threshold in securing the affection and respect of the people, already the truth of who he is well established in the minds of millions and millions of Indians, any attempt to show him down in public will prove counterproductive and seriously counterproductive. And those who seek to humiliate him will themselves be humiliated. And the public will see them as cheap characters, silly people, infantile people. And they will actually hurt themselves. I don't want that to happen. Nothing would have been lost if Rahul Gandhi were extended his due entitlement as per the settled protocol of the country. The focus would have been entirely on the Prime Minister. As I said a short while ago, people have nearly forgotten what the Prime Minister said because the attention, the entire focus is now on Rahul Gandhi. So, end of the day, the truth of the matter is that the people who are doing all this kind of thing are being too generous towards Rahul Gandhi. They are providing him with opportunities one after the other, one after the other, one after the other, to prove to the people of India that he is made of a different stuff altogether. And this is bound to redound to the greater glory of Rahul Gandhi. And this should be a matter of great worry for the opposite camp. I don't know why they are not able to see things in the right perspective. Now, finally, I sincerely hope, and I'm pretty sure, that Rahul Gandhi will not make an issue of this. And I condemn the Congress spokespersons for making an issue of it. If you make an issue of it, you play the same ball game as the people who put Rahul Gandhi on the fifth row played. What was aimed at through this arrangement was the activation of a sense of grievance, because when a person sounds aggrieved in public, the public perception is that that person is weak. Just deny him a chair and he just sort of droops, or he sulks, he feels destroyed. Nothing of the sort. What is a chair? What difference does it make where your chair is? What makes a difference is the personality that occupies the chair. It is a stupid dogma of our public life that the chair is more important than the person. Now you tell me, let's take an example. Suppose there is a meeting and I am the chief speaker and I am sitting on the podium. Halfway through my speech, purely hypothetical, right? Halfway through the speech, Sri Narendra Modi comes and sits at the far back near the exit door of the auditorium. What will happen? Everybody in the auditorium will turn the other way, forget me completely, and 100% they will turn to Narendra Modi, even if he is not uttering a single word. Why? Because that's the difference in the charisma of the two persons. So it is not the chair, it is not where the chair is placed, it is not the size of the chair or the color of the chair or the weight of the chair or the upholstery of the chair or the location of the chair. It is the quality of the person that matters. And unfortunately for the BJP camp, they have given on a platter to Rahul Gandhi a brilliant, nationally significant opportunity to prove the real stuff that he is made of. And the fact that by now he has grown to such an extent that it simply doesn't matter at all where he is placed. Wherever he is, he will command attention. Wherever he is, he will radiate a positive energy. Wherever he is, he will be Rahul Gandhi. That is an achievement of a very exciting, exhilarating order. Congratulations. Keep it up. Jai Hind.